Game day brings its ups and downs, celebration and disappointment, anxiety and relief, friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm meteorologist Gabe, joined alongside our chief meteorologist Matt Lobhod, tracking the dry weather and warm start to your work week. Are you ready for spring? Well, if you're not, spring is ready for you. You'd notice that walking out the door today with how warm those temperatures are. We do expect that to continue as we go about our work week ahead, but we also are expecting some of those rain chances by later on in the week. We're also looking at some new counties added to the burn ban list, including right here in North Mississippi, giving you a first look at that as we get further into the 5 o'clock broadcast. And yes, kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but showers and storms by the end of the week, increasing into the weekend and continuing into next week as well. One of those unstable patterns that we do have here in North Mississippi, and we will be able to see that in more detail as we get further into the broadcast. But before I get too far ahead, I do want to bring in our chief meteorologist, Matt Lopon. Matt, beautiful sights behind you. So jealous that you're doing it outside in this great weather, because I want to go out there as we speak.
Oh, absolutely. It's a spectacular afternoon. It's been a fantastic day after a very mild weekend. I'm along the Tanglefoot Trail here in the Ingomar area. I spoke to a school down in Houston today, the middle schoolers down there, and I've just been kind of doing a tour here across, working my way up Highway 15 toward Ingomar here, just getting some beauty shots along the highway and some other spots. I'm using the Mississippi Live drone. We'll show those to you over the course of the next few days here, but it is a spectacular afternoon here in Ecru. Well, it was in Ecru just a minute ago, but now we're here in Ingomar and a lot of other places at this time. The temperature coming in at this instant here at around 76 degrees or so here in the Ecru area. New Albany up the road there, well, up the Tanglefoot Trail, coming in at around 75 at this instant, and 78 down in Houston, where I was a little bit earlier on, under what again are mostly clear skies. We're 71 for that temperature at 6 p.m. 63 as we look toward 9:59 as we go toward midnight. Again, a little bit cool later on this evening, but mid-50s still way above our normal for this time of the year. Not going to hear a lot of complaints about that on those southeast winds. We're officially in meteorological spring. What does that mean? Well, okay, so meteorologists look at the months, right? And we split them up in a way that, you know, what does it meteorologically feel like? Technically, because of the Earth's axis and the way in which we determine official spring, it's not till later this month, after the 20th, that we kick into astronomical spring, that this is meteorological spring that we're in now, and certainly Mother Nature following cues as far as that is concerned. So checking out our cameras around the region, Crenshaw coming in with completely clear skies. You know, from time to time, I've smelled smoke as I've been driving around here in the north central part of the state, but out in Crenshaw at this time, looks like those skies remain completely clear, 77 degrees clear. That measure of moisture, that dew point, remains fairly low. Smithville, we're 73 degrees, only a few high, thin clouds there toward the horizon. Still, those a long, long way from the surface there in Monroe County. And capturing our camera at this instant, one more stop on our tour, Winona. And you can see a little bit of that grayish hue toward the horizon there. Likely that smoke. Again, our meteorologist Gabe will be breaking down who all is under those burn bans coming up here in a couple of minutes. Because again, not everything you're seeing there is actual precipitation. It's mainly smoke that you were looking at just a moment ago there on that shot. Looking back up toward the north and east, you can see, again, a little bit of wintry precipitation and rainfall, but nothing that's too terribly significant. Weak trough nudging in the area, so don't expect that to have any kind of meaningful drop in temperature really over the next couple of days. You've got to go way west before you can see the first of the storm systems that will bring more active weather for locations out to the west of us over the course of the next couple of days here as we check out our severe risk area. And this is important for locations back west of us. No risk area as far as today is concerned on that. And really the next couple of days, the chances get a little bit better for locations of Plain. You can see Tuesday, into Wednesday there. But all those primary risks are all going to stay west of us, I think, in the near term. We just lack some of the components, as you can see, to really get more active weather closer to us. But West Texas, back out west, there are at least limited chances there going into the latter part of this week. And that storm system, which we were looking at last week and thought, hey, maybe it could be more of an impact for us. Thankfully, it looks like it's aimed at someone else. So looking again, Gabe, you're going to have to advance this here if you would for me, please. Looking ahead over the course of the next couple of hours here and the next day or so, you'll see that we continue to have, again, mostly clear skies overnight. Really, the more, I guess, greater cloud cover is not actually cloud cover, it's sky cover, I should say, in the form of some of those smoke plumes from time to time out there. But this evening, we continue to stay dry and mostly clear. Note the clouds come there from Mobile to Hattiesburg, working their way northward. That's a sign of a little bit low-level moisture coming. And so the stickiness factor does come up a little bit more in the next couple of days. As a result, we'll have slightly more cloud cover. Okay, maybe a lot more cloud cover for tomorrow, and slightly better chances for rainfall as we progress through the middle part of this week. You can see that we're keeping that rain coverage only 10% or so on your Tuesday. 78 degrees the high, again, way, way above our normal for this time of the year. And while we have southerly winds bringing in just a little bit more moisture, it's frankly not particularly significant, and that's what keeps our severe weather chances down. I think through the latter part of this week, we're not talking about severe storms, thankfully. Even into next week, there remains some questions. We're looking at that extended forecast, and when some of those could materialize here in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live Weather continues. I'm here in Union County in the Ingomar area on a beautiful afternoon along the Tanglefoot Trail. Man, I hope you take the opportunity here. You know, there's a lot of times people are like, we don't have 4 full seasons here in Mississippi. We do have spring, we do have fall. It's in bursts. We're in one of those patterns right now that it's the beautiful end of spring. Take advantage of that. Gabe will tell you how long it's going to last. Coming up here in 60 seconds, the Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center next.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, burn bans have been something that we've almost been teasing the past couple of weeks with how dry these things have been. Now, looking at our latest forecast, we do have the latest county here in North Mississippi being added to that list. That is going to be Winston County. The Louisville Fire Department putting it out earlier today that Winston County is under a burn ban at least through the start of April. So it is going to be a very dry time, has been a very dry time, and those drought conditions have just continued to build. As we take a look there towards southwest Mississippi, definitely the area that stands out the most for where those burn bans have been increased the most. And so we expect these counties to gradually work their way through the rest of Mississippi if these dry conditions do continue. And so far they have. Starting off our work week, we have seen minimal rainfall. And we're still getting a few of those showers actually up there towards Colbert County in the Florence, Alabama area. Maybe one of those showers trying to develop down south. But honestly, let's do some nowcasting together. I'm going to bring it in here a little bit closer towards that Knox, Van Pickens County area and put this on a loop, because one of the things that I want to look at is if that might be a smoke plume, and it looks like it exactly is. So this is why these burn bans are in place. As you can see, another fire happening. Hopefully that is just a controlled burn, but that shows that there is potential for some of these fires to happen because it is such a dry environment. As we look at those rainfall totals from today, going to have to expand things out once again, and we're getting some trace amounts of rainfall. You really see that up there towards Tate and DeSoto County, but even those amounts, if I populate in these totals, I'm going to go right on that bullseye. Yeah, under 0.2 of an inch. So that shows the little amount of impact that these showers are going to have. Still kind of trace amounts up there along the Tennessee state line as these light showers have worked their way on through. Actually got an alert this afternoon, was doing dishes, and it said rain detected close to home. Looked on radar, it might have been half a mile wide. So not exactly impacting a lot of folks, but nonetheless, some limited, very isolated, very light chances of rainfall are in the forecast. As we continue into those evening hours, getting a look out of Tupelo, as Matt was mentioning, a large part of this is going to be some of that smoke there in the sky, the haziness in the sky, but we are getting a little bit of those high-end clouds as well, those cirrus clouds way high up in the atmosphere, and it is a great-looking sky nonetheless. So let's get out there and enjoy it, like Matt was mentioning. A big thank you to the folks there at Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling for sponsoring that look out of Lee County. And Tupelo, phenomenal place to be this evening, as is Panola County there with Batesville. 77 degrees right now, and that measure of moisture, 43 degrees, letting us know still a very dry environment, meaning those burning conditions not exactly ideal. It does get to be a bit dangerous, especially with all of this vegetation around it that is still in a very dry state. As you know, we're transitioning into spring, so those things haven't come to life just yet. So it is a lot of sticks and limbs that we're dealing with that don't exactly have those lively roots or lively vegetation for some of that moisture to be a part of it. So dry vegetation, some of the dry conditions in the sky, not exactly a recipe for success. Greenville, as you can see out there, dealing with a beautiful blue sky, 77 degrees right now. Still measure of moisture coming in pretty low, but that's going to be the case for the entire start of our work week. We're 68 degrees by 7, 63 by 9, and low 60s continue by 11 o'clock. What you're noticing, though, some of that cloud cover building in overnight. While it's not going to have any rainfall attached to it, it is going to be a noticeable difference in our forecast. We woke up this morning to a little bit of cloud cover. Similar conditions can be expected for our Tuesday morning. Still the southerly wind building its way into North Mississippi, and that's going to allow the moisture to return with some cloud cover, but also keep those temperatures well above our seasonal average. It's felt pretty nice the past couple of days. Well, we get to enjoy that heading throughout this week as well. Tuesday morning, this is the one note with this southerly wind is that cloud cover returning to the forecast, and wouldn't be shocked at all to see some areas of patchy fog as well. Low temperatures, 55 New Albany, Tupelo, and Houston, 56 Columbus and Starkville, 57 Belzona and Greenwood, and 56 there towards Clarksdale. So it is going to be a great start to the school day. I officially got the word from Miss Maynor. I asked her this morning, is it cold enough to where we need a jacket, or would you be okay walking out the door this morning if you only had short sleeves on? And she told me that she would be okay with just short sleeves. So that tells me, because she's very cold-natured, that we're starting to transition more into a warmer season, which means tomorrow morning you might be able to head out the door with short sleeves and be good the entire day. Now, I think you could get away with a long sleeve, could get away with a sweatshirt, but you will not need it as the day goes on. 69 by lunch, 76 by that final bell. Still with those partly cloudy skies, not impossible that we see a light shower. But again, those showers will be very hit or miss than hit, very much more miss than hit. As we go about today, partly cloudy skies just remaining over the top of North Mississippi, so not going to get those breaks in the afternoon like what we had this morning. And there you're getting a look at some of those rain chances right along the Alabama state line. So if you're in Monroe, Lowndes, or Noxubee County, by mid-morning, might be dealing with a few of those light sprinkles there on the windshield. Those will stick around Pickens, Lamar, Marion, and Franklin County, Alabama. So basically all counties across the Alabama state line, be watching for some of those light showers taking place. By noontime, drying up just a bit, and those showers moving a little bit more towards the east, towards northwest Alabama. That leaves us much drier here in North Mississippi, and despite the partly cloudy skies, I think we're going to be pretty dry, and all of that rainfall will steer well out of our area here in North Mississippi. As we keep that going into the late afternoon and evening forecast, if you are traveling down to Jackson for some of those state championships or state semifinals, then you are enjoying a beautiful traveling forecast. Temperature-wise, going to be warm, so crank that air in the car. But of course, if you are traveling closer to northwest Alabama or even up there towards northwest Mississippi, dealing with some of those light showers. But again, I expect this to be more towards the morning and even those up there towards northwest Mississippi by early afternoon. High temperatures, this is what I was mentioning a moment ago. This is the story for your Tuesday, as we're 79 Water Valley, Bruce, and Houston, 76 Corinth, 75 Iuka, 78 Cleveland and Clarksdale, and this is the best sight to see. 80 degrees, Greenwood, Belzona, Kosciuszko, Grenada, and Macon. So folks, it may not be spring, actually spring, but being that it is meteorological spring, hey, this is a good forecast for it and feels a lot like it. So if you're traveling down to not Starkville this time, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, the Diamond Dogs traveling down to take on Southern Miss in a top 10 matchup. And I will say this, as a Bulldog fan, we are ready for blood after this past Sunday. That game, still hurts. But there is a loss on our record, but that is an arguable loss, and we'll always have an asterisk through this season. But this is going to be a big-time matchup between two Magnolia State competitors, and that is going to be fun down at 6 o'clock there at Southern Miss, and a beautiful forecast for it. So can't blame the skies with this one. It's going to be mostly clear throughout the game and keeping those mild temperatures around. Now, Ole Miss is staying at home, taking on the Memphis Tigers, and you can see 73 first pitch, 66 by that final out. It is going to be a later pitch, which means it's going to be cooler by the end of the game. May have a light jacket on standby, but even then, those temperatures are not cold whatsoever. As we get into the late evening hours, here you're seeing that southerly wind just continue to build into our forecast. Now, this is keeping the moisture around, which keeps those overnight temperatures from being too cold. And that's why we're not seeing a significant drop during those overnight hours. So heading into our Wednesday morning, once some of this cloud cover breaks up, we'll still see that moisture build back into the forecast. Some patchy fog can be expected, and even a few light showers. But what this will do is blanket our skies and keep those dew points pretty high. And since the dew points are higher, then that keeps our low temperatures from getting too low as a result. We're 60, Holly Springs, Oxford, and Water Valley. Still some upper 50s showing up Louisville, Macon, and Starkville. And as we look up north there, 60 in Iuka, 63 Belzona and Greenwood. It's going to be as mild as I've ever seen on a early March day. As we keep going with the early hours of our Wednesday, you can see how those showers primarily going to remain out there in the Delta. Now, I think this is a little bit more widespread than what it should be, but I do expect some light showers working their way along I-55 to be expected during the morning hours of our Wednesday and carrying over into the afternoon as well. So that's why we have a little bit of those increased chances on our Wednesday to enjoy some of those some of that light rainfall. But it is not going to last long. If you do get some of that rainfall, just give it about 5 to 10 minutes to pass right over, and you should be good to go until the next shower rolls in a little bit later. But if you expand things out, you can definitely see a better visual of where the stormy weather is taking place. And that's going to be along this frontal boundary up there towards Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and towards Texas. And that's where we also have that severe weather risk in play. Fortunately, as Matt was mentioning, a little bit further than what we were forecasting last week, but that shows how long-range forecasting can and will change, and it did exactly that, shifting it about a state over. So we're grateful for that. We don't want severe weather. We will take some rainfall, but don't give us the severe part of it. So high temperatures on your Wednesday, since we are a bit drier than other locations. Still dealing with some isolated showers, but that's not making too much of a dent on these temperatures. We're still 82 Houston, 84 Columbus, 83 Starkville, and upper 70 showing up Red Bay, Boonville, Corinth, and Iuka. So going to be a fun time Wednesday as we dodge a few of those isolated showers, but overall should be a mostly dry day. Now, Matt was mentioning this, and I want to tease this once again because we're going to go into much more detail at 6 o'clock on the severe weather parameters heading through this week, but really into next week. And I know, again, that's long-range forecasting, and we've seen how it can change, but giving you guys a first look at that heads up for some potential strong storms next week, how that's exactly playing out, and what we're still looking for here at Mississippi Live Weather for our confidence to increase or decrease ahead of time. But for our forecast models for tomorrow, again, or should I say tonight into tomorrow, that level 1 risk in place for Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. That will start to shift a little bit east as that cold front shifts east as well. Level 2 threat for northwest Arkansas extending into northeast Texas. And that level 1 threat just outside of us here in North Mississippi. So fortunately, I think that all the severe weather should remain a little bit out away from us. But then we get an additional system to develop, and that will continue to remain in the Oklahoma and Texas area. As you can see, working its way east into the Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas area. And then as we get further into Saturday, still that severe weather threat a good ways away from us here in North Mississippi. And while that forecast can change, I don't expect it to change all the way here into North Mississippi, at least with what I'm looking at right now. But getting into next week, you can see how Sunday, Monday, even into Tuesday, I know it's not on the graphic, but Tuesday, keeping some of those increased rain chances around, and as well as some storms, those could be potentially on the stronger side. And that's what we're paying attention to as we get further into this week, is how those ingredients are panning out and how that impacts our forecast in North Mississippi. But nonetheless, rain or shine, those temperatures will remain above average, and we are grateful for that aspect. But we know with the changing of the seasons, severe weather season is upon us, and that's what we're kind of getting into as we enter late this week into early next week, is just the season's shifting over as we get more into spring and some of that warmer air does settle in. So that's what we'll be ironing out. Getting into our 6 o'clock broadcast is going to be the latest on those rain chances and how that'll impact us here in North Mississippi. Go ahead and get that free app today, Iowa iOS and Android, was checking our meteorologist Caleb Edelblute's forecast over the weekend, constantly seeing where those rain chances stood and where those temperatures stood as well. And the app was perfectly updated, letting me know what to expect for me and my family, and I know it can do the exact same for yours. Our next broadcast at 6 o'clock, been talking about it, but we're also going to be live at 10, tracking the limited amount of rain chances for our Tuesday, limited amount of rain chances for our Wednesday, but really what to expect beyond that. And that's what we're going to be breaking down in more detail at 6, following that up with the latest model runs at 10. We'll see you guys there. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you back here in about a half hour.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.